So, if you grew up middle class in India, you weren't given a choice. Let's be honest, you were given a blueprint. Study hard, take science, crack a massive national exam, and secure your future. It sounds incredibly simple, but every year millions of students disappear into tiny rooms for 14 hours a day trying to make their script a reality. And we call this ambition. But if we strip away the romanticism, it stops looking like education and it starts looking like a hostage situation. Most students are not choosing these paths because they are deeply passionate about thermodynamics or organic chemistry. They choose them because in India, stability is sacred. And when an economy gives you very few second chances, playing it safe stops looking like cowardice. It starts looking completely rational. That deep-seated fear didn't appear out of nowhere. A lot of our education system still runs on ideas inherited directly from the colonial era. The British expanded standardized testing to produce efficient bureaucratic workers for the empire, compliant individuals who could memorize systems, follow rules, and fit neatly into administrative machinery without questioning the overarching structure. 80 years after independence, we never really escaped that mindset. We just made the competition more intense. For decades, private enterprise was choked, turning government posts or a handful of elite engineering seats into the only reliable lifeboats out of poverty. Our parents were deeply traumatized by that era of absolute scarcity, and they passed that exact systematic trauma down to us, packaged neatly as a love for stability. And honestly, from their perspective, it does make sense. In a society fractured by corruption and nepotism, a standardized test feels like the only uncorrupted equalizer left. An OMR sheet doesn't care about your surname, your bank account, or who your father knows. At least, that is the theory. So, families place an enormous amount of faith in these exams. The tragedy is what that pressure slowly turns our culture into. Look at your YouTube homepage. We haven't just built an exam culture. We've turned it into a toxic internet circus. Clearing a test transforms an average 20-year-old into an algorithmic demigod. Our digital space is flooded with creators rank flexing their scores, confusing a high elimination ranked with absolute human excellence. They lecture the public on life and success when millions of normal students watch from the dark, internalizing a manufactured sense of shame for going to a tier 3 college. And this anxiety is exactly what fuels a multi-billion-dollar coaching industry. These companies don't sell education, they sell survival panic, spending lakhs of rupees to literally buy the marketing rights of top rankers so they can plaster the exact same teenager across 3 competing corporate banners. The real product isn't education, it is weaponized parental panic. And this panic isn't just expensive, it is lethal. Look at the grim architecture of Kota, a city where student hostels physically install spring-loaded ceiling fans and safety nets just to keep teenagers from hanging themselves. Think about how dystopian that is. An education system where the architecture itself has to adapt to despair. In early 2024, an 18-year-old student named Neharika left a note in her room just days before her engineering entrance test. She hadn't even taken the test yet. The system broke her through the sheer weaponized anticipation of failure. The worst part, the system isn't even honest. Just when we thought things couldn't get worse after the scandals of 2024, the 2026 NEET exam collapsed completely. A leaked handwritten chemistry guest paper circulating on WhatsApp forced the total cancellation of the exam, stripping away the future of nearly 23 lakh students in a single day. Even the Supreme Court openly expressed its anguish, stating that the National Testing Agency simply refuses to learn its lessons. It proves that the absolute ultimate irony of the testing treadmill. It proves to a generation of kids that you can sacrifice your youth, your mental health, your friendships, and your sanity to play by their rules perfectly, and the machine will still glitch, leak, and eliminate you anyway. And despite all of this, society still refuses to respect alternative paths. Someone can spend 4 years unsuccessfully preparing for a government exam and still be seen as serious or discipline. But try building a freelance business or a startup for 6 months, people start calling you distracted, irresponsible. In India, failure is tolerated only when it happens inside approved systems. And the obsession with safe paths has created a toxic caste system of the human mind. In Indian schools, your worth is decided the day you pick your stream. Science sits at the absolute top of the pyramid, commerce sits in the comfortable middle, but taking arts is viewed like an academic death sentence. And that is the part people misunderstand about Indian students. This is not a generation lacking creativity, innovation, or courage. It is a generation adapting to extreme structural pressure. When one medical emergency can wipe out 3 generations of family savings, when unemployment stays high and failure carries permanent social shame, risk isn't an option, it's a luxury. And India is not obsessed with exams because our students are robots. And we aren't even obsessed with success. We are simply obsessed with avoiding failure. So the next time you see a giant billboard of a smiling topper on the side of a highway, don't just look at the rank, look a little closer.